What is up, YouTube? thyAshes here, bringing you another video. And today I'm going to be giving you my Esports Gears Season 2 wish list, aka things that I hope they either add or change or fix or I don't know another word for it, just create for the second season of Esports Gears Pro Circuit, or the Gears Esports Pro Circuit. I guess I'm saying that backwards. For the future of the teams, and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So let's just get right into this list. There's no order to this, and these are purely my opinions and my thoughts that could help maybe improve the scene and increase its visibility. Number one, I would like more notice on events. Give a schedule similar to how they did it before, of where we know these events are going to be. For example, at the beginning of last season, they said you're going to be in Paris, London, Vegas, all of these different places. That was awesome. Try to give us more accurate dates and ahead of time. Perhaps like a 2-month notice minimum. That way that you give more teams the chance to plan and be prepared for these massive open tournaments that you want to hold, and a chance for them to actually show up and attend these tournaments. Number two, change the payout. Right now, I believe the top 12 teams get paid out from a tournament. Now, let's put that into perspective. 12 teams automatically get put into pool play. That means there's 12 teams that are considered the pro teams. Then you add in another 4 teams, you've got 16 teams that are the pro teams, those 4 teams coming from open bracket. Doesn't matter how you do in pool, your pool play, you could go 0-3 in pool, and all you have to do is win, I believe, 1 match, maybe 2, and you're now top 12 and you're in the money. That to me doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and I'm pretty sure it's just 1 match and you're now in the money. So one match win, and if you're a pool play team, and you're automatically placing in the money. That to me doesn't make sense. I personally believe that the top 6 teams should be paid out, maybe top 8, but I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's to stick to top 6. I wouldn't even be upset if it was only top 4. And I know a lot of you guys can come back and saying, well, you guys are the #1 team. Of course you think that, you know, that's not fair, but at the end of the day, you're giving participation trophies, and you're dividing up this prize pool amongst a lot of teams that won 1 match, 2 maps. They won 2 maps potentially to place in money, and I just don't think that is in the competitive spirit. I don't think that's, you know, the right mindset. I think you have to work and compete hard and beat the best to be the best kind of mindset for placing in prize money. That's just me. I also can see the other side of it, where, you know, it helps more orgs want to get involved and stuff like that. But my personal preference would be see the top money divided up amongst the top 6. I think that seems much more fair to me, even though I can see and understand the counterpoints. That's just where I stand on that. Point number 3, the match type. Now, what I mean by this is right now we have 7 competitive maps. And if I can do this correctly, Foundation, Impact, Lift, Reclaim, Dam, Harbor, Diner are the 7 maps, right? I would like to see that number of maps increase to like 15 or so. And the reason for that is right now it's stale. Okay, so nobody really enjoys playing Diner. That's kind of a general agreement amongst the pro community that not a lot of people like to play Diner. That's why it's rarely picked. There's teams that have auto bans. Usually that's like Harbor, Diner, Lift for Envy used to be their auto ban. So usually those maps don't get picked that often. So that leaves you with maps Reclaimed, Foundation, Dam are like the main 3 maps that you see all the time. We removed Forge before, which I also think was not a very good map. So you've replaced a not very good map with an also not very good map in order to kind of freshen up the map rotation, but you still have only 7 maps. So we're seeing the same maps over and over again. What I would like to see is 15 or so maps. It doesn't matter if the maps are that great at, you know, if every single map is amazing at that point, because it forces the teams to be great at every map. Otherwise, you're going to have a chance of playing it. You get to ban 2 maps, so you have to be good at another, what is that, 13 maps? And even then, it's realistically 14 maps, since every map is open after you auto ban. So I would like to see the map pool increase. I don't think it should 6 to 7. I don't think they should just replace a map every time they think they have a new one. I think Slab would be a great competitive map. I think Dawn has the potential to be a great map. I think Security could be a good map. Blood Drive with some small tweaks could even be a good map. Avalanche shows potential and has an interesting layout with the hills. So on and so forth. I just think there's a lot of maps that could be added to the circuit that would be interesting and help diversify this a little bit. Or if they don't want to do that, change up the game types. Right now, escalation is a great game type. It has its own tweaks. I'll touch on that in a minute. But having 7 maps and only escalation makes the gameplay for the viewer and for the competitor stale. So if you're not going to add new maps, if you're not feeling like adding new maps, if you don't think they meet the qualifications, if they don't, whatever the case may be, if you don't want to add new maps, add new game types. Let's see a CTF game type. Let's try a bomb game type and see how we can incorporate those into the Gears universe to make those viable game types and add those to the rotation. The problem with escalation is the fact that sudden deaths are a thing, that there's no way getting around that unless there's an objective where no matter what, one team loses and one team wins. That's going to force some action. That's why a bomb game type is good. We've had something somewhat similar to a capture the flag before. I believe it was Gears of War 2, where they had you pick up the meat shield that was an AI that could actually chunk you, and you had to take that to your base or something. I don't know. That game type was not that good. It was awful. But if we had like a traditional capture the flag game type, which I don't know if there was in Judgment or not, but if there was a traditional capture the flag game type, I could see that actually working for Gears of War. So, you know, throwing in a mixture of game types, even TDM, you could argue that Halo has a TDM basically game type and Team Slayer. But the issue is you're still going to have that campiness after the initial power weapons are picked up. So to remove that campiness, you have to have those objectives. So escalation, capture the flag, and some type of bomb game type, I think would be the right mixture. And then keep it to like 7 maps, maybe even expand it to 9 maps, so that you've got more diversity across those maps, but it's not a ton of maps. That would make more sense to me, and it would diversify the strengths and weaknesses of teams. Some teams might be good at escalation where they might not be good at CTF and so on. So I think that could really help diversify and spice up the way Gears of War plays. Another comment I want to add on to this is escalation is a great game type. I like the theory of escalation, but right now I feel like it's a little bit too long. I would like to see the points to win a round lowered some, maybe make it closer to like 180, 170 in that range where it's just a little bit faster. It's not that extra gap of time all the way up to 210. And just kind of make the game play a little bit faster. I think that would help avoid these kind of like long drawn out matches that go to game 3 or map 3, sorry, round 13. So that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Point number 4, I would love to see Coalition promote and support the pro teams and pro players, coaches, managers, whatever, who create content. And I'm not just saying this for my own benefit. There are other content creators out there. Gilbert streams 2Ks, Icy streams, Fran, Toy, they both stream, Solar's somewhat streams, Kyle creates YouTube content now, Frank streams, Crushmo streams, United players stream. Like, there's a lot of people out there who have been streaming, making YouTube videos, and creating content that helps support and promote the game, but it's not getting any recognition from the Coalition. I would love to see them go, hey, want to learn the basics of escalation? Go check out Ashes' video on how to be a good escalation teammate, which is a video that I've actually made. Or want to see what behind the scenes with Echo Fox looks like? Go check out Franco's stream as they run through this 2K or go through this 2K, or whatever the case may be. Just promote the people who are promoting your game. That's going to encourage the pro community to actually create content, and it gives you free advertising for tweeting out and helping promote them. It's a win-win situation. Yes, you're going to have the difficulty of, are you showing bias towards some teams over others? But realistically, as long as you have kind of a fair way of scheduling it out, which is not that hard to create, then you can easily diversify the amount of support that you give out, be fair and even with everybody, and still promote everybody to create that content and help your game. Point number 5, this one's kind of a no-brainer. And in my notes in front of me, I put fix the game. Right now, we're playing with, in my opinion, one of the worst shotguns that we've had, and it's just because I think something's wrong with it, and I have a video going up about that. But realistically, like, the game is going through too many massive changes in its fundamentals. We've already got a split between core and competitive. There's no going back from that decision right now, and I don't think they even want to, because there is a large core community. But that being said, we're getting too many big changes for the competitive scene, and we're dodging either like on one extreme or the other extreme, rather than meeting in the middle and finding this balanced weapon balancing. I don't know a better word for it. It's just, you have this pro community who plays the game every day, who practices hard, who spends a ton of hours on it, who play almost purely competitive. And I feel like the input's not really getting there, or like they're hearing it and then they're just pushing to that next extreme. There needs to be this middle ground. We need to fix the game in this offseason so that it's a pretty balanced game and it's just minor fixes, bug fixes, small tunings as new metas evolve to help adjust the game, rather than these dramatic changes from one extreme where the shotgun is 83 every game to this extreme where the shotgun chunks you from across the map. So I would like to see that fixed and help make the game a more consistent and stronger game, which will encourage the pro community and all community to, play the game more. Point number 6, and this one is going to get a little dodgy, so I want to preface this by saying that I loved my chances to go to London, Paris, and Mexico this year, despite me getting stomach parasites in Mexico. I loved it. It was amazing to travel the world for Gears of War. It's something that I'll never forget. It's something that I cherish, and I am forever grateful for. That being said, going into a competitive mindset, I think that there need to be regionalized tournaments between NA and Europe. So here's my idea. And this is not saying this is not an argument where NA is better than Europe, Europe's better than NA. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just purely critiquing the structure of the pro circuit and how I believe personally that it can help both regions and the game itself prosper. So I would like to see NA events that are open. These events any team can go to. If a European team wants to come, they're more than welcome. If a Latin American team, which I'm including Latin America, Splice, Fable, and all those teams in NA, because I'm not going to get into that argument, but they're part of NA. So NA events are open, and the events only affect North American seeding. So basically you have 2 different seeding categories, North America and Europe, right? Then you have European events that are closed. You have like maybe 2, 3, depending on how you want to divide up the prize money for that region, 2 or 3 smaller events that are like around maybe 25, 30K prize pool that are only European teams. What my purpose for this is, it'll encourage European teams to come out and actually play at their events without having the risk of getting just beat up on by the OpTics and Envies coming over from North America. So they have a chance, they have something to play for. They're given plenty of notice so that they can plan off work and things like that, which I know is another major complaint for that region. And they can come to these events and earn their own seating, right? They have that practice, they get that experience, the LAN experience, and they have 2 or 3 of those. Then there's maybe one larger event for Europe that's an invitational or even an open event, but I put in my notes invitational, where the top 3, 4 teams from North America can be invited to attend, and if one of them declines, then the next one can be invited, so on and so forth, where that'll kind of mix up that region and allow those European teams who now have 2 or 3 events practice under their belt playing against each other and building their own regions to then flex their muscles against other regions and see how that works and get that practice. Then at the end of the season, rather than just having one event that's the same as all the other events, have like a world finals, have an event that's just a larger event, similar to how Halo did. It doesn't have to be $1 million prize pool, because clearly we don't have that financial support in this game yet, but just a large prize pool tournament that means a lot. That's a huge event, like production wise, build up, hype, everything around it. It's the first time that you'll see a lot of these teams come together and clash from different regions, and just build around that story of it being the world finals for this game. As far as I'm aware, almost every other esport has a similar world finals. Smite, League of Legends, Dota, Halo, Call of Duty, they all have these world final large events, and you build the entire season around that idea, so that yes, these events are important, but that's the big one. That's the one that takes the cake. That's the one that decides the best team of this season kind of idea. And then a little side note of all this, I think that the 2Ks were a good idea, but I would like to see, in terms of, more content for the game as well as more consistency, I would like to see the 2Ks actually removed and have there be some sort of pro league, and then the 250s for the people outside of the pro league. That way there's kind of more constant broadcasts that can promote these teams, promote their strengths, weaknesses, a more stable schedule for the teams that are the pro teams, and invent some sort of relegation system that can, fluctuate the teams maybe every quarter of the season or halfway through the season, so on and so forth. Not exactly how ESL did it, because you have these events as well, but almost more similar to how Call of Duty does it. So those are just my ideas. These are things that I'd like to see happen for Gears of War 2, or Gears of War 4's Season 2 of the Esports Pro Circuit. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these ideas. If you have any comments or concerns about them, I'm open. Obviously, like, this isn't like, you know, be all say all, but these are just things that I think would help improve the Pro Circuit for Gears of War going into next season. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe down below, and as always, I will see you all in the next video.